Last weekend, Dallas Cowboys rookie running back Jaden Blue finally made his long-awaited debut after being inactive for the first 4 games of the season. Cowboys fans were excited to see Dallas give the rookie a shot, which only happened due to Miles Sanders being banged up. The 28-year-old Sanders missed last week's game due to knee and ankle injuries. The rookie running back didn't play a ton, 14 total snaps, 11 on offense, as he only had 7 yards on 4 carries and a 32-yard return. It wasn't a debut that Cowboys fans will remember for years to come, but it was the first step toward what Dallas hopes is a solid career in the Lone Star State. Cowboys fans hope to see Blue take that next step heading into this week's game against the Carolina Panthers, but that opportunity depends directly on what happens with Sanders. On Wednesday, Joseph Hoyt of the Dallas Morning News reported that the veteran RB returned to practice, but then walked off on his own 20 minutes into the session. Miles Sanders returns to practice, but status still unclear for Week 6 if you're the Cowboys. It's good to see Sanders back on the practice field after he didn't practice at all last week. However, it's not encouraging that the veteran running back walked off the field just a short time after the veteran running back joined Dallas this offseason with the possibility of competing for the RB1 spot with Javonte Williams. Williams has clearly won that battle, as he is turning in one of the best seasons of any running back in the league thus far. However, an unimpressive showing from Sanders in the preseason, along with Williams turning back the clock to his rookie season in 2021, has made the former Penn State standout a non-factor. Now, you include the emergence and excitement of a rookie running back, and the veteran is not in a good spot. Speaking of Blue, it will be interesting to see if the Cowboys give him more snaps this weekend, especially if Sanders is out or limited because of the ankle. Dallas is going up against a Carolina defense that has allowed 107.2 rushing yards per game and 4.5 yards per carry. The 21-year-old running back has elite-level quickness and is a home run threat to break a long run whenever he touches the ball, which is the perfect complement to what you get from Williams. It's also worth mentioning that Blue can be utilized as a pass catcher out of the backfield, which Dallas didn't even attempt to use in last week's game. Therefore, a lot of what the Cowboys could potentially do on offense in the running back room will hinge on what Sanders' health is over the next 48 hours. Well, we're so fired up for what Jaden Blue can do for this offense, said Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President and Director of Player Personnel Stephen Jones. Appearing on 105.3 The Fan on Friday, Jones spoke about what Blue, a rookie 5th-round pick at running back out of Texas, brings to the team. You know, he's got rare explosiveness, and I know Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer and his offensive staff are going to certainly continue to figure out the best way to use him. But I think he's really going to bring something to this offense, at the running back position that we hadn't had, Jones said. This quote comes on the heels of some tough injury news for the Cowboys. RB Miles Sanders is out for the season with a knee injury, Jones announced on Friday. He'd been dealing with knee and ankle injuries suffered in Week 4 against the Packers that forced him to miss Dallas' Week 5 game against the Jets. Further testing apparently revealed a more severe knee injury than originally thought. I think this can, as much as I respect and think a lot of Sanders, I think at the end of the day Blue can really bring some more juice to this offense, Jones continued. Which you start talking about getting him and W.R. Cavani Turpin and W.R. C.D. Lamb in the mix going forward. In an offense that's already doing pretty good, it's got a chance to just continue to get better. Dallas Cowboys RB Jaden Blue offers speed to the offense. Blue was the second fastest running back at the NFL combined back in February with a 4.38-second 40-yard dash, behind only Jaguars RB Bashal Tutin. Blue's speed is clearly something the Cowboys are excited to integrate into their offense, as Jones mentioned. He can be used in the run game and the pass game, and he can threaten the edges of the defense to open things up for the rest of the offense. With Sanders out last week, Blue was active on game day for the first time this season. He carried the ball 4 times for 7 yards, also returning 1 kickoff for 32 yards. Can the Dallas Cowboys continue to survive their injuries? That's the question that Dallas is faced with at the moment. Heading into Week 6, the Cowboys are 2-1, drawing even with the Packers in the NFL season's lone tie so far. In the coming weeks, Dallas plays the Panthers, Commanders, Broncos, Cardinals, and Raiders before a much tougher stretch to close the season. The Cowboys are dealing with a ton of injuries as well. RG Tyler Booker, C Cooper Beebe, WR CD Lamb, WR Cavani Turpin, WR Jonathan Mingo, ED Peyton Turner, LB Jack Sanborn, LB DeMarvion Overshone, CB Kalen Carson, CB Siobhan Revel Jr., and S. Malik Hooker are all out on Sunday against Carolina. If the Cowboys can get healthy over the next few weeks, they'll be set up well down the stretch. When the Cowboys traded a fourth-round pick at last season's NFL trade deadline to Carolina for receiver Jonathan Mingo, the team was widely ridiculed. Much better receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams, had been moved before the deadline at relatively cheap prices. But a fourth-rounder for Mingo seemed excessive. The counterpoint was that Mingo was a high-upside young player who had been a second-round pick in 2023, and that a fourth-round pick might actually be a bargain if he could only stay healthy and put in the work to improve. But in a year and a half in Dallas, he has done neither. Mingo played in 8 games last season, making just 5 catches on 16 targets, tallying 46 yards receiving. During training camp, he was considered a contender to be the team's WR2 this season before the acquisition of George Pickens. Instead, however, Mingo has not played here in 2025. Jonathan Mingo coming back from knee injury. To be fair, Mingo has not been healthy. He suffered a right PCL strain in the preseason and needed to be put on the injured reserve, forcing him to miss the first 4 games. Now, though, the Cowboys have 3 weeks to get him back on the field. He started practicing on October 1st, and that means he must be activated in 21 days. Coach Brian Schottenheimer said, when Mingo returned to practice, "I'm just excited to have Jonathan out there again. I know he's really excited. He has not played football in a while, but, I know he's really excited, so we'll see how he does. He's been working incredibly hard in the classroom, spending time with the walkthroughs and things like that. Hey, we're not going to force anything. We're going to be smart with what's in the best interest of the players, but he's clamoring to play." Cowboys don't have room, but where? The Cowboys are expecting CD Lamb back from his ankle injury, and Pickens has been outstanding with the Cowboys. Cavani Turpin is likely to be back in Week 7, and Ryan Flournoy had a breakout game in Week 5, 6 catches, 114 yards. Jalen Tolbert is still hanging around on the roster, with 10 catches and 101 yards on the season. Cowboys could be forced into WR deal considering all that. USA Today's Cowboys Wire suggests that the Cowboys will need to find room for Mingo by trading a wide receiver. Mingo could be a trade flip himself, but there is sure to be no market for him. The next best thing, move Tolbert. It's possible the Cowboys could open a roster spot for Mingo via trade. A free agent in 2026, Tolbert seems like the most disposable and tradable asset of the group in Dallas. Despite his disappointing start to 2025, Tolbert still has value after his breakout season a year before. He gives the Cowboys useful depth right now, but if Lamb and Turpin return in Week 7 as expected, Dallas could probably afford to trade him and essentially replace Tolbert on the depth chart with Mingo. It's not ideal, but the Cowboys might not have many other choices.